All right, so we're going to start by visualizing distributions of the sample mean. The figure below shows the distribution of in-state tuition and fees for all two-year colleges in the United States for the 2012 to 2013 academic year. Notice that it is skewed and multimodal. Right, so what we have here is a large population, and we end up with a distribution that is skewed and multimodal. Excuse me. All right, the figures below show the distribution of the sample mean for samples of size 30 and 90 drawn from the skewed multimodal distribution that we just saw above. Notice the shape of each is approximately normal, and the standard error decreases. Remember, when our standard error, standard deviation decreases, it's because our normal curve is getting taller and skinnier, so our distribution narrows as the sample size increases. So we went from a distribution that was skewed and multimodal to one that is normal but kind of a little bit spread out when we had a sample size of 30, and one with a smaller standard error and a taller, skinnier normal shape curve when we had a sample size of 90. We're going to use these ideas to label some examples on the next page. So below are three distributions. One of these distributions is of a population. The other two distributions are approximate sample distributions of the sample means randomly sampled from the population. One of sample size 10 and the other of sample size 25. Match the graph with the correct distribution. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to pick out the one for a population, and we're going to pick our second one here. What we have here is definitely not anywhere close to a normal curve. So we're going to say this is the graph of the population. Right. Again, it is definitely not normal. Then if we look at our other two curves, remember that as our sample size gets bigger, our curve becomes taller and narrower because our standard error decreases. So our taller, skinnier one is going to be the bottom one. That's going to have our larger sample size. So that means that this one, it's approximately normal shaped, but a little bit more spread out. So that's going to be our smaller sample size of size 10. So we will say this is the graph of the sample size 10. It is normal with more spread. And our bottom one, our one that was taller and skinnier, this is the graph of the sample size 25. It is normal with less spread. Right. So this example, the different shapes of our distributions that we're looking at, right, just reiterate what we've stated a few times. As our sample size increases, our standard error decreases. And as our standard error decreases, our graphs become taller and skinnier. There is less spread.